Hello everyone. Hi. I hope you guys can see me and hear me. I'm just trying to check it live on the app. Okay. I can see myself. Hi guys. Hi Shank. Good to see you here. Adjusted a little bit. Okay. Welcome to the class. So what we'll be doing today is we are going to discuss some of the basics of blood relation based questions. Now these questions kind of form the fundamental level of when it comes to logical reasoning. You're not going to get questions on this in the CAT exam, at least not very frequently. I don't think a question on this has been asked in the last 5 years, but they do form a very, very important base or a foundation for the other advanced stuff in logical reasoning. What happens is if you have these bases covered, the difficult problems or the difficult puzzles, they become relatively easier. See, at the end of the day in LR, you don't really have any formulas or any topics. It is just different levels of questions that you need to do. So if you directly join at the highest level, yes, in a lot of cases, you can get that through. But building a base always helps. And that's the agenda for this class as well as the next one. So this class is at 5 o'clock. The next class is at 6:30. My target is to finish both of these classes in roughly 45 odd minutes. We'll be discussing the very basic idea in the first class and then some slightly advanced problems in the second class. Good to see you here, Ashutosh. Hi, Karan. Hi, Jyoti. Good to see you guys here. Now, there might be some of you who might be attending a class or at least on this channel for the first time. For them, let me tell you, my name is Ravi Handa. I've done my studies from IIT Kharagpur. I've been teaching for CAT for close to 15 years now. And via my own website, I taught 20,000 plus students online. Very recently, I started taking classes on Unacademy. And via Unacademy, I actually teach via YouTube a bunch of classes as this one. There are a lot of free classes I take on the Unacademy app as well, which are the special classes. And then there is the paid courses. As far as paid courses are concerned, 2 of my courses are starting on the 12th. One is on number system, the other one is on ratios. The number system will be covered in 9 classes. The ratios one will be covered in 4 classes. Unacademy offers 2 types of courses, the plus courses and the iconic courses. The plus courses are live classes such as this one, but they are provided in a structured format. What I mean by that is that in those, you need to, the topics move in a certain structure, basics first, then advanced, then a slightly higher level. And the entire topic gets covered in them. If you're planning to subscribe to any of the plans, my recommendation to you would be, if CAT 2021 is your target, to go for the 6-month plan. And when you do that, remember to use the coupon code HANDA. That will get you a 10% off. Another feature is that although a little more than 6 months are left, but if you subscribe today, your subscription will be valid till CAT 2021. So now, starting with the most fundamental of ideas as to how do you actually solve questions on family tree, blood relations, and similar topics. What you do is, there are various techniques that you can use. The first technique is representation of information in a manner that it is easier to read and understand. First tip, go by generations. That means if you have A is the grandfather of B, you make 3 generations, put A in a generation and B in the 3rd generation. So that way you will be able to visualize. So all the fathers, mothers, uncles will be here. Then if you're talking about A or C or I or C and their son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws, they will come in the 2nd generation. So making this sort of a gap actually helps you. Another thing which you can do is representation of males and females. Males are typically put into square brackets or rectangles and females are put into circles. This is not really my convention. It's a convention which is adopted by a lot of books, and it helps if you use the same convention. You're free to use whatever you want, but this is something that I personally find helpful. And the third one is So this is based on sex. And the third one is showing relationships. So typically marriage is shown by a set of parallel lines. Suppose P is married to Q, where P is the male, Q is the female. So that is shown by a pair of parallel lines. For the sake of argument, at least for these questions, don't imagine that same-sex marriages are possible. Don't imagine that same-sex marriages are possible. And having a child out of wedlock is again not something which is considered by default for questions like this. If you have siblings, they are shown by a single line. So it could be two brothers, it could be two sisters, whichever way you want to take it forward. Hi Swapnil, good to see you here. Now, when it comes to questions which are based on, blood relations and logical reasoning, they're typically of three formats. Format one would be a long sentence will be given to you, which would be something like the person playing the game is my uncle's brother's son-in-law's blah, 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 blah. So in those type of questions, what you need to do is effectively always start from the end. And uncles, brothers, wives, son-in-law, all of these, whoever people are mentioned, please give them some names. So give them names like A, B, C, D. So that makes it easier to solve questions like that. The other category is when there are symbols which are used. So you will have something like $B means A is the father of B. Or you could have something like A asterisk B means that A is wife of B. So A is wife, so A becomes female and B becomes male. And the third type, which is actually the most popular and the most common type, these kind of questions will only probably come in exams like CMAT or MHCET, where the focus is on doing stuff quickly. However, the third type will be when there will be an entire paragraph given with various conditions. And to solve those, you will need to make a family tree. You will need to make some sort of a family tree. How do you make the family tree? By using all of these conditions, by using all of these ideas. That's how you can make a family tree. So that's broadly how you can, solve questions like this. I'll not like to take too much time with the theory. Let's start off with a simple, straightforward question of type 1. What do you think will be the answer here? A lady is pointing to a woman in the photograph. So what do you do? What do you think will be the answer for this one? She is the only daughter of my father-in-law. So you name your father-in-law as A. You name the only daughter as B. And suppose you are C, a lady is C who is pointing. So there are three characters who are involved here. So sister-in-law, daughter-in-law, these are the options. Okay, let's check. So C is a lady pointing. So as I said, so C is the lady. Start with the end. It's always easier. My father-in-law. So this is C, my father-in-law. So she is married to someone. Who is the son of A. A is a male. A is married to someone. Their child is the husband of C. So she is the only daughter. Of A. So she being B, the only daughter. And now we are asked for the relationship between C and B. So B and C are, since the husband and B are brother and sister, so B and C will be sister-in-laws of each other. Simple, straightforward question. Take the information which is given, put it in the form of a diagram, put it in the form of a family tree. This will lead you to the answer. Making it a little more complex, try this one out. Making it a little more complex, try this one out. Ram said to Hari, Ram said to Hari, the boy playing with the football is the younger of the two brothers of the daughter of my father's wife. So, father's wife A, father B, daughter, so C, who is a female. Please note what I am doing. What I am doing here is A was wife, so female, B was father, so male, C was daughter. And then I have two brothers. So let me call this P and Q being the two brothers. That might come in handy. Then how is the boy playing football related to Ram? So we have Ram, my father's wife. So we have Ram, and then you have Ram's father's wife. So Ram's father is B and father's wife is A. So basically they are Ram's parents. Of the daughter, so that means C is the daughter, C is the daughter, and then P and Q are the younger of the two brothers, P and Q. So now there are two possibilities that you should be prepared for. That if Ram is pointing and he's saying that he is the brother, so it is possible that one brother is Ram and then the other brother is the younger brother, let's say P. This is one possibility, that younger brother is P, Ram himself is the older brother, and C is their sister. The other possibility is that B and A, they married, one of their child is Ram, C is the daughter, and then there are two more brothers, P and Q. Out of them, P is the younger brother, and there are two brothers, so Q is the older brother, so Ram could be a female. See, there is no information in the question which says that Ram is a male. If Ram is a male, then it will be the left-hand side diagram. If Ram is a male, that will be the left-hand side diagram where Ram becomes the older brother and P becomes the younger brother. Or it could be the right-hand diagram where Ram is one of the two daughters. See, it says that there are only two brothers. But we do not know the number of daughters. So it could be that Ram and C are both daughters of A and B, and P and Q are the sons of A and B. Both of these possibilities are there. And in both of those cases, what is the relationship of the younger brother with Ram? So in this case, he is the brother. And also in this case, Ram might be a sister, but P will still be the brother. So whichever case you take, your answer in both cases comes out as brother only. Ashutosh and Shashank are right about this one as well. That's correct. Let's try the next one. Same idea. This time you have options. So which option will it be? Pointing to a man in the photograph, a woman said. Pointing to a man, so let's say A is the man in the photograph, the woman is saying, so B is the woman. Start from the end, son of my grandfather. So C is the grandfather. Only son, male. So only son is D. Brother's father is the only son. So this is also the same person. Father D. Brother's father. So let me say brother is E. So keeping this in mind, A, B, C, D, E, you have 5 people, and then you try and make the diagram. Only son of my grandfather. So pointing to a man, so woman, B, and then woman has a grandfather. C, the grandfather has an only son. The only son is D. The only son, D, his brother, father. So D, his brother is E. So D has married to someone. D has a son who is E. And this E is brother of A. This E is brother of A because it is A's brother that is being talked about here. This is A's brother that is being talked about here. So then, how is the woman related? So A and B. So this is going to be the daughter because she will be in generation 3. She will be in generation 3. I'm not sure, Shashank, how you're getting it as daughter. I'm getting it as sister. Might have made a mistake somewhere. Anyone else getting a brother or getting a sister or a daughter? Let me just check. Pointing to a man. So B points to A and says his brother is E. Brother's father is D. D is the only son of my grandfather C. So D is the only son of my grandfather C. Fair enough. I think my arrangement is correct. B indeed comes out as the sister of A. Option 3. Praveen also agrees with me. What about you, Ashutosh and Karan? Did you get it as a sister? Ashutosh and Karan, what's the answer that you got for this one? Okay, good to see that. Now, this is the next type. That I said, where codes are given to you. So, star means S is the wife of T. So, S is the female married to a male T. S plus T means S is the son of T. So, this means S is a male and is the son of T. We don't know whether T is a male or a female, but they are in different generations. Minus means S minus T means S is the sister of T. So S is the female and she is the sister of T. So this also tells me two things. One is that if it is either the first one or the second one, they will be in the same generation. If it is star and minus, they will be in the same generation. If it is a plus, that means there will be two generations which will be involved. If it's a plus, there will be two generations which will be involved. Now you need to find out which says A is the daughter of B. A is the daughter of B. Which of these statements fits? A is the daughter of B. That is what I need to find out. A is the daughter of B. How do I find this out? Shashank says it is 4. Any other answers? Anyone other than Shashank giving any value? See, I can tell you, I can just look at it and eliminate some of the options. A plus C means A is the son. That means A is a male. What do we want? We want A to be the daughter of B. And it is coming out as son. So a male cannot turn into a female. So first option is ruled out. Then the next option says A star C. So this means A is married to C. A is married to C, or rather A is the wife of C, and then every other relationship could be son, sister, wife, or whatever you are going to do, you are going to do it at C. You are going to do it at C. So whoever are D or B, they will always be in-laws. They will always be in-laws. They can never be a father or mother of A. Whatever you do, they will always be in-laws. So second one also, there is no need to draw the full diagram. See, the point that I'm trying to make via this question is, it is not that you need to draw the complete family tree like we did in this question or like we did in this question. There is no need to complete the family tree. You just need to check which one fits. And for that, it is important that you eliminate the options as soon and as quickly as possible. And in that bid to eliminate the options as quickly as possible, first one I eliminated very quickly because A is a male. I want A to be the daughter of B. Second one I'm eliminating, A is the wife of C, and whatever relationship now C has, they can never get to the father or mother of A. They will always be in-laws. The second is also ruled out. Then A and C. So I will have A minus C is A is sister of C. A is sister of C. And if A is sister of C and then C gets married, and then C is the wife of D. So now once again, once you have gotten the marriage part here, now they will be in-laws of her sister. So once again, this is not possible. Once again, option 3 is ruled out. So how are you able to get to the answer in this case? Definitely 3 are ruled out. I would have preferred if there were only 4 options, I would have marked 4 and so on. But since there is a none of these, I need to prove whether the fourth one is correct or not. So let's check that. A minus C. What does minus mean? Minus means sister. So A is the sister of C. Then C plus D. Plus means son of D. So C is son of D. Now if C is son of D, that means A is daughter of D. This might be my answer because I have gotten 2 generations and I have got one parent as D. I don't know if D is father or mother, but D is definitely a parent. And then I have D star B, which is S is the wife of D. So D is the wife of B here. So what have I got? B and D are married to each other. They have 2 children, A and C, and A is the daughter. That is what I wanted, making option 4 as the answer here. Are you guys okay with this? Thanks, Ashutosh. But trust me, when you end up doing anything for 15 years now, anyone can do anything. And let me be really honest with you. The entire reason why I got into teaching and CAT coaching or anything like that is because it's comfortable. Because I personally find it comfortable. It is very little effort that is involved. Yes, there is a lot of yelling that I need to do. And that's why you keep seeing me going away for water. But other than that, it's a pretty comfy job. So there are multiple batches which are starting. You can join them. When you join them, please remember to use the coupon code HANDA. And for every subscription that you take now, please remember that it will be valid till CAT 2021. Please remember that it will be valid till CAT 2021. And now let's get on to, slightly more realistic sort of questions which you can get in the exam. Still not CAT level, but kind of realistic questions which you can get in the exam. Draw the family tree after that, so I'm not telling you the questions right now. I'll tell you the questions after that. So please try this out and please tell me what's the answer that you obtained for this one. So what will you get here? How will you get to the answer? You need to make a family tree. You need to make a family tree. The, a little bit of a tip that I can tell you, try to find out who is a male and who is a female. That should be your first goal. Obviously, you cannot find it out for all of them, but for whichever one you can find out the male and the female, please do that. Try to find out the various generations which are there. Because once you figure out the various generations, once again, that helps you, get to the answer fairly quickly. So a lot of people, the mistake that they make in questions like this is they directly go ahead and they start making the family tree. So they will do is A and B are a married couple. So they will mark A and B as the married couple and they proceed straight forward from there. Instead of that, do a very basic analysis which will help you in questions, especially difficult ones. So A and B are a married couple. A is the male member. A is male, which means B is female. Now, wherever you see A in the question, mark him as male. Wherever you see A in the question, mark him as male, because that helps you figure out stuff. Wherever you see now B in the question, mark it as female. So B is the female. And that's all that we have. Then D is the only son of C. So D is male, only son of C. C, who is the brother of A. So C is the brother, so C is also male. E is the sister of D. So E is female and D was male. So I mark that as well. And then B is the daughter-in-law of F, whose husband has died. So F is a female. F is a female who is not married to anyone. With that being in mind, the next thing that you should try to maybe roughly visualize is the generations. So married couple A and B will be in the same generation. D is the only son of C. So wherever D is, C will be in the previous generation. Who is the brother of A? So C and A will be in the same generation. E is the sister of D. So E will be in the below generation. B is the daughter-in-law of F. So A and B are married couple. So B will be in this generation. And B is the daughter-in-law of F. So F will be in the top generation. So out of the six people, what I've done is, now I have figured out their generations also. Once you have figured out their generations, then making the family tree becomes a little bit simpler. So let's try that. A and B are a married couple where A is male. So middle generation, A and B, married couple, A is the male. Then D is the only son of C, who is the brother of A. So I have C, or let me take some more space here. So I have A and B. A is married to B. Then I have C, who is a male. C is married to someone, and then they have a son who is D. We also know E is the sister of D. So C has two children, which is E. E is the sister of D. So E comes here. Then B is the daughter-in-law of F. So that means F is the mother. Whose husband is not there. Are you guys okay with this diagram? That F has two children, A and C. A is married to B. A is the male. C is the brother of A, so C is also male. And C has children. E is the sister, and D is the only son of C. So D is a male only son. E is the only daughter. Once you got the family tree, that is when you should try and attempt the questions. How F is related to A? So F is mother of A. F is mother of A. E related to C. E and C. So E is daughter of C. C is the father. E is the daughter of C. Who is C to B? B and C. B and C. So B is the sister-in-law of C, or C is the brother-in-law of B. What do I need? I need C to B. So C is the brother-in-law, which is option 2. How many male members are there in the family? So we have A, C and D. There are 3 male members in the family. So we have A, C and D. We have 3 male members in the family. Are you guys okay with this? Let me know if you want me to repeat any of them. I got A, C and D. I got A, C and D as the 3 males here. The idea is questions are not important. The family tree is important. And even more important than the family tree is the process. Because please understand, this was a simple question, small family tree, 6 people. So you might be able to solve it and make it directly also. But the process is important. In the process, try and figure out the sex of as many people as you can. That was the first thing that I did. Then try and figure out the generations of as many people as you can. And then you try and form the family tree. Praveen, Ashutosh, I hope all of you guys agree with this. Let us now try profession of T. We had another question. Okay, sorry. Missed the question text. Did I forget to put it? No. Here it is. Please try this one out. Once again, follow the process. You take more time, you take less time. That's not the idea. The idea is that you should follow the process and get to the correct family tree. So tell me, if you need a hint for this, please let me know. I will then be able to help you in a slightly better way. The fundamental goal or the fundamental idea still remains the same. Males and females. Once you get that, the rest of the part automatically sorts itself out. 6 people. So how is this different from the previous one? The complexity has risen. Because earlier, what you were doing was just relationships, males, females, and all that. Now, you also need to figure out the, who is a psychologist, who is a lawyer, and all of that. So, how do we do that? How do we get to the answer? How do we calculate this? How do I get to the value? Are the processions line-wise? No. So they are not. See, if the professions were, that P is a psychologist, Q is a manager, if they were given that way, then you will have the word respectively here. If that respectively is not mentioned, that means any of them could be any of these professions. That means any of them could be any of these professions. So that's invalid. We don't know much. We don't know much. What do we know? PQRSTU, 6 family members, 6 professions. Doctor is the grandfather of U, is a psychologist. No male, female known. S is P, no male, female known. R is the jeweler, married to the lawyer. No male, female known. Q is the mother of TNU. So Q is the mother of TNU. That is what I know. So that gives me some sort of hope, some sort of starting point. There are 2 married couples in the family. Okay. So who are the 2 married couples? That's what you need to figure out. The manager S is married to P. So S is the manager who is married to P. I don't know the male or the female. I don't know the male or the female. R, the jeweler. R, the jeweler is married to the lawyer. R, the jeweler is married to the lawyer. So these are my 2 married couples. These are my 2 married couples. So R can be married to any of the remaining 3 people. R can be married to any of the remaining 3 people, which is Q, T or U. R could be married to any of the remaining 3 people, Q, T or U. So the next thing that I will do is I'll try and make the generations. So doctor is the grandfather of U. So I have doctor, and doctor is the grandfather of U. Okay. So U is in the last generation. Doctor is in the top generation. Doctor is in the top generation. And U is a psychologist. U is a psychologist. So that is what I have here. Then S is married to P. R is jeweler. I have already taken care of that. Q is the mother of T and U. So Q must be married to someone, and they have 2 children, T and U. T and U. So again, the R, the jeweler, it looks to me that where can it fit? Where can it fit? So the married couples, I need 1 married couple in the top generation so that they can produce an offspring. Then I need another married couple in the second generation so that it can produce 2 offsprings. So who could be the married couples? Who could be the married couples? Then the only possibility is, so T and U are ruled out. They are in the last generation. R is the jeweler. Now if R is the jeweler, Q was the mother, so Q was a female. R jeweler becomes the male. R jeweler becomes the male. The doctor is the grandfather. The doctor is the grandfather. So that is possible only if P is the doctor. Only if P is a doctor and P is married to S, who is a female and a manager. Q became my lawyer. Only 1 profession are left. Only 1 profession is left for T. Which profession is left? Psychologist is U. Manager is S. Lawyer is Q. Jeweler is R. Doctor is P. Only engineer is left. So T is going to be the engineer. So this is what my final diagram is going to look like. This is what my final diagram is going to look like. I know professions for all of them. I know generations for all of them. What I do not know is who is the child. Is it R or Q? Is that mentioned somewhere? No, that is not mentioned somewhere. So it is possible that the child is R. It is also possible that the child is Q. Because when we say grandfather, it does not mean that you have to consider only the paternal grandfather or only the maternal grandfather. So the unknown things are P and S, they have a child. Whether that child is R or Q, I do not know. R and Q have 2 children, U and T. Whether U is male or female or T is male or female, that is once again not some information that I have. that is once again not some information that I have. So I will have to solve this question based upon this particular family tree itself. Are you guys okay with this family tree? Are you guys okay with this family tree? Okay, Shashank is fine, Karan is fine, Ashutosh is fine. Good to see that. Now, what is the profession of T? T is an engineer, and that is not mentioned in the options, so it will be none of these because T is an engineer. Then, how is P related to T? P and T, P and T. See, if P was grandfather of U, they have the same relationship. P will be the grandfather of T. So this is option 3 again. This is option 3 again. How many male members are there in the family? So male members are, P is a male member, R is a male member, U and T I do not know. So definitely P and R are male members. So it could be 2 or 3 when one out of T and U become male, or 4 if both T and U become male. So it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, and that is why my answer will be cannot be determined. My answer will be cannot be determined. If I change the question a little bit, if I change the language of the question a little bit, if I say that how many members of the family are definitely male, then your answer would have been 2. Because for 2 people, you are sure that they will be male. So please be careful with the language of the question as well. And then finally, what is the profession of P? P, I think, was the grandfather who was the doctor. Yes. He is the grandfather who is the doctor, and that is option. That is option 1. Guys, I hope you got the basic idea, you got the basic diagram for this, and I hope, I think I'll wrap it up here only. As I said, I'll try to keep both classes slightly shorter and crispier in 45 minutes. As I said, we have a bunch of questions. We have, pretty good higher level difficulty questions with 9 members and a lot of other stuff. We will also have a question which was asked in CAT before, and we will cover all of that in the next class. We will cover all of that in the next class. So let's take a small little break. And you can join me again at 6:30 p.m. You can join me again at 6:30 p.m. Please remember to like this video and please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And one more thing, I am looking for ideas for the next topics to teach. So the schedule for this week is pretty much figured out, but I don't really know what I'll be doing in the following weeks. So if you have any requests, if you have any recommendations, something that you want to learn or study, please send me an email on ravihanda@gmail.com. I'll try and accommodate that in the future classes. Thank you for coming to class. Thank you, Ashutosh. Thank you, Karan. Thank you, Shashank. Hope to see you guys in the next class at 6:30 p.m. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone.